Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're jumping into the time machine and setting the dial for one specific date, December 10th. And it's one of those days that connects some absolutely huge moments in knowledge, American history, and culture. So let's dive in. So, what does connect an encyclopedia, a brand new state, and the most famous prize in the world? It kind of sounds like the start of a joke, doesn't it? But the answer is really simple. The date. They all share a December 10th anniversary, and we're going to unpack how these seemingly random events all weave together. All right, first up, let's talk about some major milestones in knowledge. How we go about documenting and rewarding human achievement. We're going to head way, way back to 1768, because on this day, something huge happened. The very first edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica was published. This was a total game changer for making knowledge accessible. I mean, just stop and think about how ambitious this was for the time. It's still the oldest general encyclopedia in the English language. This first edition, it came out of Edinburgh, Scotland, and was spread across 3 massive volumes. Can you imagine the work it took to pull all that together in the 1700s? No internet, no computers, just pure hard work. So December 10th isn't just about documenting knowledge. It's also about celebrating it. And that brings us to, well, probably the most famous award on the entire planet. Yep, on this very same day, just over a century later in 1901, the first ever Nobel Prizes were awarded. This moment really set a new gold standard for honoring these incredible contributions to humanity, from science and literature to world peace. But here's a little behind-the-scenes story that's pretty wild. Alfred Nobel himself actually died 5 years earlier, in 1896. And while he left his fortune to create the prizes, get this, his will was incomplete. So that kicked off a huge, multi-year delay while everything got sorted out. It wasn't until 1901 that the Nobel Foundation was finally ready to go and could hand out those first awards. Okay, now we're going to switch gears and head over to the United States. Turns out, December 10th was a pretty significant day for an expanding nation, not just in land, but in rights, too. So I'm just going to put a number out there for you, 20. What do you think that could possibly mean for this day in American history? Any guesses? Well, that number represents the 20th star that was added to the American flag. Because on December 10th, 1817, Mississippi officially became the 20th state to join the Union. And here's a really cool piece of trivia about the name itself. It's not just some random word. It connects right back to the land's deep indigenous roots. It comes from the Ojibwe name for the Mississippi River, Mississippi, which has this beautiful translation, Great River. How cool is that? Okay, so fast forward 52 years after Mississippi's statehood, the nation was still expanding, but this time it was about more than just land. It was about expanding ideals. This is a big one. On this day in 1869, and we're talking long before the 19th Amendment made it the law of the land, the Wyoming Territory did something truly revolutionary. Its legislature passed a bill giving women the right to vote, making them absolute pioneers in the fight for suffrage in the United States. And for our last section, we're turning to the world of arts and culture. For this world, December 10th is a day of incredible contrast, a celebrated birth and a truly heartbreaking loss. All right, let's start with the happy moment. On this day, back in 1830, one of America's most iconic and fascinating poets, the one and only Emily Dickinson, was born in Amherst, Massachusetts. Her voice was just completely unique, and she left such an incredible mark on literature. She was a master at exploring these huge themes, death, nature, immortality, in her short, powerful, and totally unconventional poems. Her legacy is something that still fascinates all of us today. But the calendar can be so bittersweet, can it? On the same day that we mark the beginning of one legendary artistic life, we also have to remember the tragic end of another years later. In 1967, the music world was just completely shaken. The legendary soul singer Otis Redding, who was at the absolute peak of his career, was killed in a plane crash near Madison, Wisconsin. He was only 26 years old. Just unbelievable. And the circumstances are just devastating. His plane went down in a freezing lake only 3 miles short of its destination. And here's the part that is just so poignant. His most iconic song, Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay, had been recorded just days before the crash. It was released after he died and became this timeless, massive hit, forever tinged with this profound layer of sadness. So there you have it. encyclopedias and Nobel Prizes, new states and voting rights, artistic legends born and lost. December 10th is a day that really does have it all. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Hey, if you enjoyed this journey through history, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to Mr. Smith's World. It really does help us out a ton and lets us bring you more of these stories. That way, you won't miss out on any of our This Day in History explainers, where we're always digging up fascinating moments from the past. And while you're there, you should totally check out our other series, breaking down the hidden meanings of famous quotes. There's always something new to learn. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.